There's two books that I want to share with you today, both of which I think are especially timely right now. The very first one here is Love is the Killer App by Tim Sanders. When I first heard the title of this book, I didn't get it. You might not get it either. But it's a play on words a little bit. And this was back in the days, in the early 2000s, when people were creating these things called killer apps. You know, they wanted to create this killer app that was going to change the world. And that was a phrase that was used quite often. And what the premise of this book is that it ends up being love, ends up being the killer app. This book helped teach me how to read books. I've implemented the practices from this book, and because of that now I have an entire library of books I can go and actually reread in about 20 minutes. I can get everything that I intend to get out of a book in about just 20 minutes if I've already read it once. So I recommend reading that given where we are right now. And then the other book that really pertains, I think, to where we are right now, and this is also an old ebook goodie, it's Who Moved My Cheese? Who Moved My Cheese by Spencer Johnson. He also was the co-author of The 1 Minute Manager with Ken Blanchard. This is a parable style book, okay? It's not very thick at all. I think just about everybody needs to read this book. If you've read it before, you probably need to read it again. It's a parable story about these mice and how they deal with change. And the change that happened to them is that someone had moved their cheese. Their cheese wasn't where they thought it was going to be or where they always thought it would be. All of a sudden it got moved. And that's what's happening to many of us right now. Our cheese has moved. And because our cheese has moved, we need to determine how we're going to handle this change that's happening to us right now. There are some people out there doing an amazing job adjusting with where their cheese has moved or finding how to work with the fact their cheese has moved. Other people are really struggling right now. If you are struggling, or even if you're not struggling, this is a great parable that gives you the concepts that you need and the tools you'll need to deal with the change, the massive change that's happening to all of us. So, highly recommend both of these books, Who Moved My Cheese and Love is a Killer App. Check them out now. Reading books like this is part of authentic success with confidence.